In 25 well-chosen words or less, how would you describe Richard Nixon's New Federalism?
Richard Nixon's New Federalism program, I think, was his appreciation for what had gone wrong with the country. That our basic system of delivering services to our citizens had broken down. You can see it in the failure of federal, state, and local governments really to respond to the needs that were brought to the fore by riots in the cities. I mean, sure, they were in part about the draft and riots, but they were also very much about unhappiness with respect to jobs, welfare, and the other overarching ills of urban America. And I think he saw New Federalism as a way of building capacity across the board so that government would work better. As he so aptly said, they don't want bigger government, they want better government.
What was Richard Nixon like? What was he like working for? What was he like working with? What was it like working in the Nixon White House?
Richard Nixon had a tremendous mental discipline where that you wanted to deliver peak performance, you wanted to get it right because he set such a high bar of excellence in critical thinking for himself that I think that inspired and motivated everybody on the staff to put out their best work every day.
Is there a legacy today, or is there a relevance today for Nixonian New Federalism?
I think there is. I think it's helpful, and I'm glad we've had a symposium studying New Federalism and showing its capacity to make changes. I mean, one of the things we didn't talk about this morning, but which I think is a good example, Norm Mineta, the mayor of San Jose, was talking about that he got a check from the Labor Department for a huge amount of money, which he'd never expected. And he asked the Labor Department, they said, oh yeah, that's the right amount of money. They said, well, we didn't even ask for this much money. And then it turned out that there were a dozen different entities in the city that had asked for money. He knew nothing about what these other entities had done. So the system was no system. It was in collapse. Nobody knew what anybody else was doing. And the federal government was throwing money at the problem, and the problem was not getting solved. And I think the vision for New Federalism and the discipline that Richard Nixon brought into play is something that we would benefit a great deal today, rather than saying, oh, well, I've got my thing to do, and, you know, we're not going to solve the national problem because we don't want to play together.
Are there some issues today that you think would benefit from an application of Nixonian New Federalist thinking, discipline?
An easy example would be to talk about the Medicare and Medicaid programs. Here, various estimates of fraud put it between 10 and 30% of Medicare and Medicaid payments are made as a result of fraudulent activity. And we're spending more than $500 billion just on Medicare. You know, is there a way to solve that problem of fraud? Some suggest one of the problems we have today is, hey, nobody cares. It's not their money. Because the states, every dollar they spend, they get another dollar. And so what you might do, and would be maybe a Nixonian approach, would be to say, all right, instead of just shoveling the money out, what we'll do is we'll make it a block grant. So you get the money for your needs, but that's it. That would give the state some incentive to say, all right, well, maybe we should be caring about whether or not money is being stolen or fraudulently used. As it is under the present system, they don't care because they'll just give us more.
I think another issue that you thought might be relevant to this kind of thinking was immigration.
Yes, it is clearly as defined.
Could you begin that just as a sentence?
Okay. I think today one of the issues for federalism that's very important is trying to figure out how to handle the issue of illegal immigration. Illegal immigration. Because some states say the federal government is not doing its job of enforcing illegal immigration rules. And the states are saying, so we would like to do it. I think a Nixon approach would be to say, all right, we are a government in total for the people. Can we work together to effect the right result for the people of the country? We have a national problem, let's get it solved.
Last question, again, in 25 well-chosen words or less. Richard Nixon's legacy.
Richard Nixon's legacy, I think, is tremendous in that he led in so many areas, and he demonstrated that people who come to the presidency and, oh, it's too big a job for any one man, that, oh, the other party controls the House and the Senate, and woe is me, what can I do? Nixon just regarded those as opportunities. This is the opportunity to show leadership. And he showed it. I mean, certainly he had tough things to handle, the war in Vietnam, all the domestic turmoil that was throughout the country, and he came up with imaginative solutions to big problems like welfare. And he pushed and followed through on these. So I think part of the legacy is just as an example of what good leadership can do.